Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
I was an electronics technician in the Navy. When a job became available in that local market, I went ahead and signed up. Reynolds and Reynolds likely supports veterans more than most companies. Let's face it, you're a leader, so let's act like leaders.
Hi, I'm Kyle Alexander, and this is a special interview for AutoSuccess's Veterans and Vehicles program, sponsored by Reynolds and Reynolds. This program honors those working in the automotive field who have also served in our country's military. And today I am joined by one of those esteemed professionals. I'm talking about Bill McCarty. He's the director of the Innovation Center at Reynolds and Reynolds. Hey Bill, thanks for joining me today, and thank you for your service to our country.
Well, Kyle, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I kind of want to talk about your service here. First things first, I know you were in the Navy. What kind of inspired you to join the Navy and join our military?
Well, when I was around 17 years old, I didn't really have a lot of direction in my life at that time. And it really seemed like I had two options to choose from. One was to try to go into college, and then the other was to join the military. And I didn't really see a lot of good options to go into the college, so the military seemed like the number one choice. And right around that time frame was when we had that Be All You Can Be campaign, and Top Gun was one of the hot movies that were coming out at the time. And so the Navy really did seem like the right choice for me to go. And I also looked at going around the world on a ship seemed like it'd be a lot more fun than fighting in the trenches, you know.
For sure, for sure. Now, obviously, now you're in the auto industry with Reynolds and Reynolds. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved in the auto industry after your service, and then how did you end up finding Reynolds and Reynolds?
That's another good question there, because when I got out of the Navy, I wanted to take advantage of the GI Bill, and so I went straight into college. And so I was spending my time there, and my wife was looking for a job as a teacher because she had been a teacher when we met. And so she was looking for a position in education, and she couldn't find one. So my wife actually got a job at Reynolds and Reynolds before I did. And so she was helping to train our customers who would purchase our system. So she'd teach them how to use it. And the way that kind of led me to Reynolds and Reynolds was she kept running into the field engineers that would help her get the system set up. And she was like, Bill, I think this job would be perfect for you, because I had a technical background. I was an electronics technician in the Navy. And she's like, it would be perfect. And, when the job became available in that local market, I went ahead and signed up.
That's awesome. That's a cool little family connection there, too, kind of bringing you into the automotive world.
Yeah,
That's
she went
cool.
on to support our enterprise customers before she ended up actually moving out and getting an actual French teaching position.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. And, speaking of Reynolds and Reynolds and everything, I know you work with several veterans in the company. Tell me a little bit about how Reynolds and Reynolds supports veterans within the company.
Well, honestly, I'd have to say that Reynolds and Reynolds likely supports veterans more than most companies. We really encourage veterans to apply for positions that we have available. One of the reasons for that is, we want to give them an opportunity because we truly do want to show our appreciation for their service. The other thing, I hope this isn't too much of a tangent, but we also show appreciation for our local first responders. And the way we do that is we offer them a free breakfast and lunch for those first responders in the Kettering area.
How often does that happen? I'm just kind of curious.
It's every day. We get to eat lunch and breakfast with them on a regular basis. And I got to tell you, it really makes me proud to be able to sit next to, a police officer or an EMT and, just share thoughts with each other. It's pretty awesome.
For sure. And kind of going off of that in a way, how is connecting with those first responders down in Kettering and even your Navy experience, how has all of this kind of helped shape your career in the automotive industry?
Well, I got to tell you, my time with the Navy had to be the best experience I could have ever had as a young man. And the reason why I say that is because the Navy provided me with some truly intense training, and I couldn't have gotten that anywhere else. And the other thing that they did is they gave me a wonderful experience. I mean, I got to travel the world, I got to see things and do things that, quite frankly, I'll never get to do again. So that really did shape and mold me to make me who I am today. And I relate that to the automotive industry because, if you think about the dealers that we're working with every day, they've been through a lot in the past 30 years. And, that's made them pretty tough and they're pretty resilient as well. And so thinking back to my military experience, it gives me the confidence that I really need to be able to talk with our customers and help them to provide them with the tools that they really need to help make their business better.
Is there any, I just kind of thought of this question, is there anything that you've taken directly from your experience in the Navy and you implement now at your job at the Innovation Center for Reynolds and Reynolds?
Yeah, that's a really good question because one of the things that I really learned in the Navy was to stick with something, right? If you keep trying, you're going to get it. And when you're floating around in the ocean and you have a problem and you're the only person who can fix that problem, you better figure it out.
Right. Absolutely.
So quite honestly, I mean, I really did learn that. And I had a lot of people who depended on me. And, I came out pretty good. I did a great job in the Navy and I loved it and had a lot of good experiences.
Definitely a great thing to bring into work. Yeah, just sticking with it and staying the course and figuring it all out. I like that. Let's talk a little bit more about, veterans in the automotive industry. What impact have you seen veterans have on the automotive industry? Maybe it's at Reynolds and Reynolds, maybe it's at people you work or at companies you work with directly. What has the impact been like from veterans on the automotive industry that you've seen?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, being at Reynolds and Reynolds for 30 years now, I've actually worked with quite a few veterans. And I have to tell you that all of them that I've had the privilege of working with, they've always had that diligence to get the job done. I'm going to name a couple people that I really think have stood out that I've worked with in the past. And Clint Cargill is somebody here at Reynolds and Reynolds. He's our Vice President of Information Technology. And also Matt Guspin. He's on the support side. So like when the customers call and they need help with their networking and things of that nature, he's there to help. So Clint, he's a former Marine and he takes an enormous responsibility because he's really looking at all of the infrastructure for Reynolds and Reynolds, which is a big company. And he takes all that on his shoulders to make sure that we are, effective and, can operate properly in the market. And then Matt, he was a former Navy electronics technician, just like I was.
No way.
And he's on the support side. I actually worked with him in the field. And when we came in-house, he came in too. And, it's just been a great relationship. So really good people, really dedicated and devoted to helping our customers. And that's the kind of thing, I have a lot of pride in.
I have to ask, since you and Matt both were Navy electricians, I mean, do you ever kind of reminisce, talk about your times in the Navy just to kind of see, compare stories and everything like that?
Well, we really did when I was out in the field with him because we would ride around together visiting customers. I haven't really had as much time with him here at headquarters. However, the field experience, we talked about that all the time.
Very cool. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover probably from both of you being in the same role in the Navy.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool that you ended up at the same workplace post your service too at Reynolds and Reynolds. Let's shift gears a little bit. NADA is coming up fast. I mean, we're recording this here in October. Yep. We're looking ahead to early February now for NADA, right? With the show coming up, tell me one thing you're excited to show people at this year's show from Reynolds and Reynolds.
Well, I got to tell you, if you try to narrow that down to just one thing, that's not fair because we have a huge product of solutions here. But what I will say, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with our digital marketing solutions because we introduced something called Curator at the previous NADA. And Curator has really been getting some huge development effort. We've got some wonderful customers who are using it right now, and the results that they're getting is fantastic. So I know that that's something that we need to keep an eye on, and that, customers are going to be excited to see. And another big part of our business is advanced service. And that's really having those tools in the service department to really make our customers effective and, produce a good output. So we've been doing that advanced service piece for a while now, and we're really taking it to the next level. And so I know for a fact our customers are going to be excited when they see what we have. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but we have robots now. And so that's out in the fixed house world too. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. I might have to come check out the robots if they're at NADA this year. Make a stop by your booth when
they will be there. I guarantee
Vegas.
it.
Yeah, I'll have to stop by and see what that is all about for sure. As we start kind of wrapping up here, Bill, I wanted to ask you, what's one piece of advice that you would give veterans in the automotive industry?
Well, one of the things I have to say is I wouldn't want you to forget anything at all that you've learned from the military and that unforgettable experience, because it's just something that you got to keep with you and don't ever forget. And reflecting on that, I do believe will help you make the right decisions as you move forward. The military's made me tough, and I know it's made others tough as well. And it's really going to prepare you for what's next. But remember, you're no longer in the military, so to kind of fit in with the rest of the crowd, you got to get rid of the high and tight. You got to relax a little bit and, work closely with your teammates, because what'll end up happening is you're going to build a very strong team. And then if you share, your experience that you had in the military, especially as it relates to your work, you'll find that you build a great team. And, let's face it, you're a leader, so let's act like leaders.
That's some good advice, that's for sure. Last question for you, Bill, that I like to kind of ask all my guests. Anything else you want to add about, being a veteran in the automotive industry, your time at Reynolds and Reynolds, anything at all that maybe we didn't touch on?
For what it's worth, I always get surprised at how much, not just the automotive industry, just really kind of everywhere that I go, I get opportunities that, I didn't realize were out there. And, it could be a discount on something. It could be, like maybe I'm at a special event and they say, hey, well, all of the veterans, please rise, and then the applause you get. Those are the kinds of things that I think are really amazing. And it makes me feel special, but it also reminds me of what a great country we live in. And I really and truly appreciate, everything that people do for me. And, I was happy to contribute my time in the military. So it's just kind of an awesome feeling. So I would like to say thank you to all of you.
Well, again, Bill, thank you so much for your service to our country, and thanks for joining me today. It was great kind of talking to you about all of your time in the Navy and how that's translated over your stuff at Reynolds and Reynolds. And again, can't thank you enough for everything you've done for our country. Thanks for joining me today, Bill.
Yep. Thank you very much.